Are you feeling anxious, self-conscious, or stiff in front of the camera, hating the way you look and sound, and not knowing how to change? In this video, I will share with you the secrets of how to let go of the on-camera awkwardness so you can make your journey of creating YouTube videos easier. We're going to uncover the practical steps to let go of your fear of judgment and your self-doubt so you can become your genuine self in front of the camera, create a real connection with your audience, and grow your YouTube channel. Hi all, I'm Jamila, an MBA turned actress, turned teacher, turned YouTuber, and I like to help people become playful and relaxed in front of the camera. Right off the bat, I want to give you the most valuable tip. Talk to a real person, just one person. Think of somebody that you feel relaxed and comfortable with, like your best friend perhaps. Imagine that you're talking to them. Because you have a genuine connection with this person and they love you and you love them and you want the best for them, your personality and your genuine self will come out and your delivery will come alive. I've heard some people say that they put a picture of that person behind the camera, because you really need to be looking straight into the barrel of the camera lens. You might not actually see the face of that person, but because there's a picture of them right there, that will keep reminding you as you go that you're just talking to one person. Okay, so how do we become more relaxed on camera? First of all, a little bit of encouragement. You can do this and you can be really, really good at it. Let me explain why I think that using an example of what I know best, acting. I believe in my heart of hearts that anyone can be an actor, just like anyone can be a YouTuber. The only requirement is that you have the calling to do it. Just like acting, YouTubing is extremely hard. But if it's calling you, if you have this inexplicable desire to actually do it, which if you're watching this video you do, that means you can do it and you can be amazing at it. I stand by my words. Another point, so we're all on the same page. Just like with anything, like with therapy, like with financial advice, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. We are all different. We're all dealing with different challenges. There are a lot of smart people out there who will give you various solutions to how to be more relaxed on camera. But there are several things that might be going on specifically with you. And I will give you several tips and tricks that I know, and you can pick and choose, and there will be something in there that will help you get better at it. Okay, point number one, from my own perspective, how is acting the same as YouTubing and different from it? The way it's different is that actors have a character to hide behind, right? And YouTubers have to be themselves, basically, in front of the camera. How is it the same? Actors train day in and day out. They never stop training so that they can be ready at a moment's notice, once the cameras turn on or once they're up on the stage, to bring all of themselves to the present moment and to exist truthfully in imaginary circumstances. YouTubers are very similar. They train and they perform day in and day out to bring their authentic selves to the world and to connect with their audience, to share themselves with other people. So congratulations, you have just devised a job for yourself where you get to explore different facets of yourself and of human experience and whatever it is that you are bringing to the world, and you get to connect with fellow humans just like an actor. But just like an actor, that means that you have to train and practice, and you have to act on your impulse, and you have to do it day in and day out, and the journey is never over. Because an actor gets a different role or their circumstances change, so they're now different. Their chemistry is completely different, and now they have to explore a different part of themselves. And that's what you get to do now that you've decided to be a YouTuber. And part of that is learning and practicing how to be yourself, how to enjoy the process of creating these videos and being yourself in front of the camera. Point number two, practice. Arguably, this is the most important point. You can stop watching this video and go practice every day for 15 minutes, let's say, and let's say in 2 weeks, you will be much better at this. I promise. There is no substitute for action. See what I did there? Okay, Jamila, I can just turn off the video and go practice, right? Well, where do I come in? I can help you practice in the right way. Like a personal trainer, I can give you some tips and tricks, and I can sort of give you some methods which you can use to accelerate your progress towards becoming better in front of the camera. Point number 3, recognize that this is the new normal. Talking to an inanimate object in your living room is the new normal. Just recognize it and move on and just go do it. Remember the 1950s? Of course, you don't remember the 1950s unless you were a baby in the 1950s and you have really good memory. But what I mean is, imagine the 1950s when nobody was going to the gym unless you were an athlete or an actor maybe. And now you will feel bad about yourself if you don't go to the gym. You're supposed to do it. Like, you go to the gym and you see people doing this. Like, where in real life do you have a situation where you're doing that, right? But when you go to the gym and you see people do that, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, they're doing the kickbacks and they're working on their lats or whatever these are, triceps. So that's the new normal. By the same token, now talking to a camera is the new normal. Everybody's doing it. It's not weird. The new generation live their lives on the internet. So just accept it and move on. I know it's easier said than done, but if you're still feeling kind of stiff about it and weird about it, just push through it. Fake it till you make it. That's another really golden nugget of acting advice. Fake it till you make it, and then you will make it. Just push through the resistance, push through the weirdness of it. Just practice. Remember point number 2, practice no matter what, and you'll get better at it. If you don't put out YouTube videos, you're not a YouTuber. You can listen to all of the advice in the world, but if you don't put things into practice, you are not going to improve. If you don't go to the gym, you are not going to get more fit. Do it badly at first, you're going to be bad at first, but you're also going to improve. That is a certainty. If you put in the reps, you will get there. Identify what's holding you back. You have probably tried recording yourself on camera and all kinds of negative thoughts and feelings have come out of your head like cockroaches. That's, in Russian they say tarakаны. Well, these cockroaches are the gift that you have given yourself by taking action. So congratulations, you're on your way. Maya Angelou said, I'm gonna read this so I get it right. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Talk about being an actress. For most of us, we have spent our whole lives engaged in negative self-talk, and it's become a habit. Remember a video from a while back with this little girl that says, I can do anything good, I love my hair, I love my life, something like that. Do you remember feeling like that as a little kid? Well, I haven't met a single person who hasn't had that attitude beat out of them by the time they're an adult. And here's a word of caution. Don't fall into the trap of blaming people and circumstances for the negative self-habits that are holding you back now. It is very, very important to obviously to recognize that and to work through that. There is no substitute for long-term therapy and putting in the hours to figure out why you are the way you are and what has influenced you and how to change. But the feelings of resentment and anger, they will only hold you back. Recognize that part of being human is being negative sometimes. There's the yin and yang, the push and pull of positive and negatives. Without one, there is no other. That is the salt of human existence. But for now, let us identify what it is that we're telling ourselves that is holding us back and how to counter that. Listen to what you're telling yourself after you have recorded yourself and failed, inevitably. The first time you're always going to fail. Let me give you an example. Let's say the negative voice in your head is saying, you look awkward. The way to counter that is to say an affirmation to yourself. You can say, it is not my job to look smooth on camera. I am here to be myself and have fun. You're disarming your negative voice and you're removing the pressure from yourself to look smooth and present in a very slick way. If you start arguing with your voice, for example, they say, you look awkward, and you say, I'm not awkward. They say, yeah, you are awkward. And I say, well, I may be awkward. I'm going to get better. I'm not going to be awkward next time. And they'll say, yeah, you're never going to get better. You're still going to be awkward. So you get involved in this back and forth with the voice and not actually do the thing in front of the camera and practice and get better and be less awkward next time. So the tool that we have at our disposal is we say, it is not my job to not be awkward on camera. I am here to be myself and have fun. And the negative voice shuts up. And you can be yourself, have fun, and guess what? In the process of doing that, you become less awkward. Time and time again, you repeat the process and you become less awkward over time. Okay, so now let's talk about practical tips. How do we actually do this? So, bare bones of what to do. Have a script ready, either a script that's fully written out or bullet points. Different things work for different people. And guess what? There are actually different kinds of delivery that work perfectly well for really big YouTubers. There are people who use a teleprompter, like Sarah Dietschy uses a teleprompter, and she comes across very personable and natural. And there are some people that just do bullet points, like Ali Abdaal. He's obviously a freak of nature and he's been doing this for a long time, and he thinks really fast and he just has the gift of gab. But also, I just watched a video by this very young artist that was really long. It was probably 25 minutes long or something, and I watched the whole thing, and his delivery is very monotone and kind of slow and kind of hypnotic, and really he's not trying really hard. But it works. I watched the entire thing. And you know why? Because he was genuinely being himself and he had an interesting message to impart. So that is the key. Anything will work. I know that people will tell you, you have to be animated, you have to be this way or that way. Different things work for different people. You have the calling to do this YouTube thing. That means you've got something to say. Even if you don't know yet what it is, you have the urge to share of yourself with people. And because we are all human and we're all different, you will find the people who will find your stuff interesting. So you can remove that pressure from yourself that you have to be a certain way. Tip number 2, practice before you even hit record. Actually say the words you're going to say out loud. Imagine that you're talking to someone, to your best friend, and tell them what you got to say. You can do that, while you're doing the dishes the day before or while you're getting ready for bed. Just make sure that you're not whispering though when you do that. I know sometimes there's somebody next door and you feel awkward, but make sure that you're using a stage whisper, they call it, which is instead of saying this, you're saying this. So you're actually using your voice a little bit because your vocal cords are connecting. I learned this when I was taking a voiceover class. Whispering actually hurts your vocal cords and you can become hoarse. So don't whisper. You can say things really quietly, but make sure that your voice is actually coming out. That's actually the way I write my scripts too. I write it out, but I also say it out loud. Practicing out loud, what that does is it will cut your recording time in half probably, because you have already said these things. They're not just coming out of your mouth for the first time. Another thing that does is it clarifies what you're saying and it puts it in a much more conversational tone, which makes you obviously more relatable when you're actually saying it on screen. And yet another thing that does is you will actually find yourself going off on tangents or thinking of a story from the past or thinking of a joke that you can then incorporate into your script to make your delivery more engaging. Number 3, get into a comfortable position. For some people, they like to stand up. I am sitting down just because it does take me a long time to record, and I don't know, I'm just lazy. Some people like to stand up because it brings their energy up. When I used to record auditioning tapes, I would always do it standing up because you're on the ready, you're on your toes, and it brings your energy up. But make sure you're comfortable because that will also come across in the way you relax on camera and are being truly yourself. Have a drink you like next to you. Right now I have some tea over here because my milky tea I can't live without it, makes me happy. Milk is not really advisable. Again, that's another thing that in singing classes and voiceover classes, they say that brings up phlegm. I don't know how much of that is true, but it was an opera singer that told me that. In my voiceover class, I was told to have a little bit of apple juice next to me, not just water. because that moisturizes, it sort of like makes you produce saliva basically and makes your voice sound better and removes the mouth noises. Number 5, before you record, get yourself into an energetic mode. Get yourself into a happy place. So do some jumping jacks, maybe dance around to some music that you love or sing along to some music that you love. Do some stretching or, hang from your hips and just like sort of shake yourself out and come up and do some breathing. Get yourself into an energetic, just warm and happy place so that you can bring the best of yourself to the moment. Point number 5.5, speaking of energy, like I said, you are a YouTuber, which is not really an ordinary thing. That's another thing that YouTube has in common with acting. Actors embody characters, and characters are ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. Sometimes they're extraordinary people, but the extraordinary circumstances is the key. So actors have to be always on the ready. Let me tell you, I have never been in a better shape than when I was in a play for an extended period of time. You gotta believe it that I went to bed on time, I didn't go out drinking the night before, I made sure I warmed up my voice, I made sure I stayed healthy and took my vitamins, and I exercised, and I was warmed up and ready and limber and happy when I arrived at the theater to perform this thing, because I felt this responsibility to bring this play into life with other people. So now you're a YouTuber. I know I said that you just have to be yourself and different things work and you can just be yourself. You don't have to be like this peppy, happy, extroverted thing, but it is an extraordinary circumstance. It's an extraordinary thing that you're doing. You have put yourself on the line. You are sharing yourself potentially with the whole world, and you have an important message to impart. That requires energy. That requires you to vibrate with the message that you're about to give to people. And you can use the actor's tricks to bring yourself to that place of vibrating at a higher level. Gosh, I hate the word vibrations, so woo-woo. But what I mean is you gotta be shining with that light that is in you because you're human. Practically what that means is jumping jacks, happy music. Make sure that you take care of your body, your mind. Make sure that you're in a good place, at least right when you're about to record, because you are about to give the gift of yourself to all of us. Number 6, about nerves. Reframe nerves as excitement. This is a really, really good one, and I'm gonna make another video probably just on this topic. For now, here's the framework. Nervousness and excitement are the same things when it comes to neurological response. I think there was a study somewhere where they just did the brain scans of nervous people who said they were nervous and people who said they were excited, and it was the exact same pattern. I have an acquaintance who has written a kid's book, and she was about to give a speech at a bookstore, and she told me, "I'm really nervous." And I said, "Good." I'm excited when people are nervous because they're excited, because what that means is that you care. That means is that you're in the right place. You have put yourself on the line and you're about to share something that means a lot to you, that you genuinely care about sharing your message with people on the other side of that lens. So ban the words "I'm nervous" from your vocabulary. Instead of that, replace that with "I'm excited." You say, "I'm excited to start recording this video." Judi Dench, the person who is at the top of their game, right? She says she gets really nervous every single time she is about to step on stage. And she calls it her batteries. So being nervous is actually really good. And if you reframe it for yourself as being excited, then it will give you that energy to be yourself and to be relaxed and to be genuine and be genuinely excited about the message you're about to spread. Number 7, when you hit record, before you say the first words, say your affirmation. Depending on what your cockroaches are, your affirmation is going to be different. If you fear judgment, just say, excuse my French, "F*** 'em." If your fear is, "Oh, I gotta do a good job," then you say, "It's not my job to be a smooth presenter. I'm here to be myself and have fun." If you're thinking, "Sheesh, make that video already," say to yourself, I have time. Number 8, remember, if you mess up the line, and you will mess up some lines, you can always re-record the line. Number 8, remember, if you mess up the line, and you will mess up the line, like I did several times before I recorded this number 8, you can always re-record it. So enjoy the process. If you mess up, just move on. Action, action, action. Just take a break, look at the line, look at the camera, get in a happy mood, say the line. Number 9, here's a practical way of how I record things. So I have my lines, I have my computer right here next to me, right? With my lines and with my script. I always say the lines. As an actor, I did this on the regular when I was recording an audition, for example. I have my sides, and I usually have my sides high up here, so you can see my face. I can just glance and keep going, so I'm not down. But in this case, I have my computer right there. So I look down, I get the gist of what it is I'm supposed to say, then I look at the line, and I think of my friend, and I imagine my friend said something to me, and then I say the line. Number 10, if you feel like your energy is flagging at some point because you've been recording for a while, stop. You don't have to stop recording. Tape is cheap these days, right? And do the same thing that you did before you started recording. Do some jumping jacks, sing to some music, hang from your hips and just shake yourself out, do some yoga stretches, come up. Well, just make sure that you're coming up slowly when you're coming up so you don't get dizzy. This is hard work. This is what it means to be a YouTuber. You are supposed to have all this energy and you're supposed to be happy so that you can engage your audience. You have to be your best self. We're all human. We're gonna feel different on different days. Even if you don't feel like your energy is flagging, sometimes I have to remind myself that I should take a break because I am starting to sound monotone and I'm not noticing it because I'm tired. When you do that, the colors in your voice come back and you become more relaxed and more engaging, and maybe you have a different thought and you serve your message better and you come across much more alive. Number 11, this is getting long. Always do the previous line again. After you've taken a break or after you have messed up, always do the previous line again. So what you do is, see, let's say I've messed up there, right? So what you do is you look down in your line. 11, always do the previous line again if you're picking up the thread. I keep forgetting to do that to this day, okay? And then you go, you said number 11 just fine, but do it again. Now you know what you're gonna say. Number 11, this is getting really long. If you are picking up the thread, if you messed up the line and you have to do the line again, always repeat the previous line first. So you look down at your notes, you get the line in your head, you turn back around, and you say the line. And just remember, don't start saying the line as you're coming up. Look at the thing, get back to the center, get happy, think of your friends, think of your friend saying something and you responding to them by saying the line. Number 12, your cockroaches will probably come back as you're going. So when that happens, you just repeat the affirmation again. When people say, oh, this is taking too long, you're never gonna get this video out, you say to yourself, I have time. See how that's making me breathe right away and relax? And I can continue, and I'm suddenly more centered and more connected to you. Number 13, the lucky 13, accept imperfections. Some days are gonna be different than others. Some days you might have to stop, like I said, and record another day, but don't get too invested in getting it right. Try to get her done, right? Get it done on that day. If you have only 10 minutes left, my kids are about to come home from school, just finish the thing. Just accept the imperfections. You can, if anything, you can then, as you're editing it, you see that you want to redo some line or you forgot to make a certain point, you can re-record. Pull out your phone, pull out your iPhone 13 on the back with the back camera and record whatever it is that you need to record. Put it back into your video and Bob's your uncle. The point is, don't get married to getting it right. Just get it done, especially at the beginning, but actually always. Put the imperfections in there. Just be happy about the imperfections. That means that you have put yourself on the line and you're doing it. And the only way you're going to get better is if you practice. In the words of Leonard Cohen, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Remember that when you're focusing on your whiny voice or your wrinkles or your pimples. I'll do another video on the best acting tricks that will improve your delivery on camera in the quickest way. One of them being replacing fear with excitement. That is such a good one. Now it's your turn to tell your story. Will you write to me in the comments what you're struggling with specifically when it comes to being on camera and what you use to combat these difficulties? And maybe something that you write will help somebody else. Let's help each other get better. We'll see you later.